The border region of the Galactic Empire was usually calm. Only a few small traders passed through the area, and most Imperial patrols saw nothing but empty space. But on this quiet day, something strange appeared on the long-range scanners of patrol cruiser Varro. The first officer, Ralek, stared at the blurry signal. It looked like a large object moving out of a nebula cloud, but the reading was not clear. He checked the scanner again and again. The signature was too heavy. Much too heavy. Ralek called for the bridge crew. Admiral Sareth needs to see this. Admiral Sareth was a sharp and disciplined officer. He trusted data more than people. When he reached the bridge and looked at the strange signal, he did not say anything for a long moment. He simply stared at it, his eyes narrowing. The object was moving slowly, almost drifting, as if it had no interest in hiding or running. It came out of the dark nebula like a shadow sliding out of smoke. Thick dust and blue gas swirled around a shape that was still impossible to identify. But one thing was clear. This was no normal ship. Sareth spoke in a calm tone, even though the tension in the room was rising. Put the object on the main screen. The giant display lit up. Everyone on the bridge leaned forward. At first, the shape looked like a large broken piece of metal, maybe a damaged station or an old mining barge. But as the dust around it thinned, the crew felt something cold crawl through them. The hull did not shine like metal. It drank light instead of reflecting it. Every surface looked too smooth, too perfect, like someone had carved it out of a single piece of dark stone. The bridge fell silent. Ralek whispered, "Is it human?" The Admiral did not answer. Humans built simple ships, loud engines, bright lights, weak armor. Nothing like this. Sareth ordered a full scan, but even the Empire's most advanced sensors could barely read the vessel. The mass was huge, like a capital ship, but it produced almost no energy signature. The engine heat was zero, as if the ship was cold and dead. No transmissions, no signals, no movement except for its slow glide toward the border. A ship that big should not be so silent. The Admiral watched it carefully. Humans do not build vessels like this. The crew felt their stomachs twist. If it was not human, then what was drifting toward them? And if it was human, then humanity had changed in a way the Empire did not expect. The ship continued to emerge from the nebula. As more of it became visible, the fear on the bridge grew. The front of the ship was shaped like a long blade. Its sides were thick and armored. Giant structures attached to the hull looked like hidden engine ports, but no flame or energy came from them. The whole vessel seemed to move without effort, as if space itself was carrying it forward. Ralek turned pale. "It's watching us." He could not explain why he felt that way, but the feeling was strong. Even though the ship made no sound and sent no signals, it felt alive, like a silent predator that had just noticed its prey. Sareth ordered the communications officer, "Send a standard warning. Tell the unknown vessel to identify itself." The message was sent. No reply. The crew waited. Seconds passed, then minutes. The ship continued forward without any sign of reaction. The crew began to whisper among themselves. Is it abandoned? Is it a ghost ship? Why is it so cold? Fear turned into confusion. Confusion slowly turned into panic. Sareth raised his hand and the room went quiet again. "Prepare a second message," he said, this time with higher priority. "Demand identification." Again, there was no answer. Instead, the giant ship adjusted its course. Not fast, not aggressively. Just a simple turn, slow and controlled, aimed directly toward the Imperial cruiser. The air on the bridge felt heavier. The communications officer swallowed hard. "Admiral, it hurt us." The unknown ship moved closer. Every second made the tension sharper. The Empire cruiser shook as the object passed within a few kilometers. Too close for comfort. The dreadnought-sized vessel did not fire weapons. It did not activate shields. It simply drifted by, silent and cold. But the moment it passed, every officer on the bridge felt a pressure in their chest, like the ship had pulled the air out of the room. They did not know why, but the sensation was real. Ralek gasped. "Admiral, its hull. There is movement." The cameras zoomed in. Something along the ship's surface shifted, like metal plates sliding into place. Not random movement, purposeful movement, like the ship was waking up. Sareth felt the first spark of real fear he had felt in years. This is no derelict. Then the scanners suddenly spiked. A massive power core came online inside the strange ship. The light from the core burst through cracks in the hull, glowing blue and white. The energy level climbed higher and higher, way beyond the limits of any known human engine. No, that's not possible, Rallick whispered. Humans cannot make an engine like that. The Admiral did not speak. His eyes were locked on the screen. The power readings continued to rise, as if the ship was preparing for something the Empire had never seen before. On the bridge, every officer felt the same thought at the same time. If this is a human warship, the Empire is in trouble. The ship's engine roared to life with a bright, silent flash that lit the entire nebula behind it. The Empire lost its calm, and Admiral Sareth finally said the words no one ever expected to hear from him. "Alert the High Council. We have a problem." The news of the strange ship spread through the Imperial command network within minutes. Admirals, intelligence officers, and high-ranking nobles were pulled out of meetings, sleep, and even celebrations. No one expected trouble from the human borders. Humans were supposed to be weak, predictable, and easy to manage. But now, a massive unknown vessel had passed an Imperial cruiser without fear, without sound, and with an energy core stronger than anything recorded in the Empire's history. This was not something they could ignore. Inside the Imperial Defense Hall, a tall chamber filled with holograms and glowing screens, High Marshal Corvin paced in front of the council table. He was one of the most feared military leaders in the Empire. He had fought many battles. He had won every one. But this worried even him. Admiral Sareth's report hovered in front of him. The image of the black, silent ship emerging from the nebula played again and again. Each time it looked larger. Each time more threatening. Corvin turned to the gathered officials. "Explain this." No one spoke. He pointed at the frozen image of the ship on the screen. "Humans do not build ships like this. Humans cannot hide their engines. Humans cannot power something this large. So why does this vessel look human?" A quiet cough broke the silence. Intelligence Officer Velas stepped forward. "We have reviewed all human blueprints in our archives. None match this design. Their largest warship is 1/5 the size." Corvin frowned. "Then is this not human?" Velas hesitated. "The hull shape shares some human patterns. But the materials, the technology, the silence, this is beyond anything the humans have ever shown." Another officer spoke softly. "Maybe the humans found alien tech, something ancient." Corvin scowled. "Or maybe they have been hiding real strength from us." The room became still. The Empire had always believed humans were harmless. Their ships relied on brute force, not science. Their weapons were loud and messy. Their shields were weak. Their engines were unstable. Humans were not fearsome. Humans were manageable. But this mysterious ship changed everything. Corvin took a deep breath. "We need eyes on it. Launch 3 scout vessels. Tell them to follow the unknown ship from a safe distance." The scouts were small, fast, and equipped with the best tracking systems the Empire had. They left the nearest starbase within minutes, and jumped into the same region where Sareth first made contact. The Imperial Council watched the live feed with growing tension. Scout 1 reported first. "We have visual contact with the unknown vessel. It is moving toward the outer trade lanes. No transmissions, no signs of life." Scout 2 added, "The hull surface is shifting again, like plates moving under pressure." Scout 3 whispered something no one expected. "It feels like it knows we are here." Before the command center could ask questions, the audio from Scout 3 cut out. The video flickered and showed static. A moment later, Scout 2's feed also vanished. In the control chamber, every officer froze in shock. Corvin leaned forward. "What happened? Did the ship attack them?" "No weapon fire detected," an analyst replied. "No explosions, nothing." "Then where are our scouts?" Corvin growled. No answer came. Finally, the feed from Scout 1 flickered back online. The pilot breathed heavily, panic in his voice. "It sees us. We must leave. We must..." His screen cut to static. Every trace of the 3 scout ships vanished from the Imperial grid. Silence filled the entire defense hall. No one dared speak. Losing 3 scouts in seconds without any battle signs, that was impossible. That was terrifying. Corvin clenched his fists. This ship is not only powerful, it is watching us. It is reacting to us. One of the senior counselors shook his head slowly. This should not be possible. No human ship has sensors that strong. Velas stepped forward again. He looked pale. We compared the last frames from the scout recordings. The The unknown vessel did not fire weapons, but something happened around it. Space itself looked distorted. Corvin's eyes widened a little. Distorted? Yes, sir, like gravity was shifting. The room became colder. Ships that could bend space were rare. Only the Empire's top scientific cruisers could do it, and even they struggled. If humans had mastered this, no one wanted to finish that thought. Corvin finally broke the silence. Prepare a full intelligence scan. I want every planet, every human station, every known human fleet analyzed again. Look for signs of secret construction projects. Look for missing resources. Look for anything unusual. The officers rushed to their stations. Screens lit up. Maps unfolded in the air. Dozens of analysts worked at once. Hours passed. The tension grew thicker with each report. One analyst reported no records of human megastructure construction. Another said, no missing fleets, no strange movements. A third added, human colonies look normal, no militarization. Corvin rubbed his forehead. So you are telling me humans built a ship bigger than our dreadnoughts, and the Empire somehow missed it? A junior officer swallowed hard. It seems that way, sir. Corvin looked around the room. If this ship belongs to humans, then humanity has changed behind our backs. If it does not belong to humans, then someone is framing them. The counselors exchanged nervous glances. Velis asked in a quiet voice, "What are your orders, High Marshal?" Corvin stared at the hologram of the dark, drifting ship. "We must learn the truth before panic spreads. Send word to all border fleets, increase patrols, and keep this incident secret." He paused. "And most important, track that ship. I don't care how you do it." The Empire wanted answers. But the answers would not be comforting. And somewhere in deep space, the unknown human vessel moved on. Silent, patient, and far more dangerous than the Empire had ever imagined. The human dreadnought Erebus drifted through the edge of Empire space with silent precision. It looked like a carved shadow gliding across the stars, calm and unstoppable. Most people in the galaxy believed humans built noisy, bulky ships. But the Erebus was nothing like the old designs the Empire remembered. Captain Elias Reyes stood at the center of the command bridge. He was calm, steady, and unshaken. His eyes watched every screen with quiet focus. He was the kind of man who did not speak unless it was needed. His presence alone was enough to steady his crew. The bridge of the Erebus was dim, with soft white lights glowing under the consoles. No sound came from the engines. No hum, no vibration. The crew sometimes joked that the ship felt like a ghost, cold and too quiet, but they trusted it more than anything. Reyes looked at the main screen. A faint blue nebula faded behind them. Ahead was the silent path toward deeper Empire space. The first officer, Carolyn, walked to Reyes. She held a datapad and looked uneasy. "We crossed the border 2 hours ago, sir." "Still no Imperial challenge." Reyes nodded. "They saw us. Sereth's cruiser passed within 3 kilometers. Kara tried to calm herself, but the memory of that moment returned clearly. The Empire ship had scanned them aggressively. She felt the pressure of their gaze like needles in the dark. She lowered her voice. "They must be terrified." Reyes did not smile, but his eyes softened. "Good. Fear is better than a war." Behind them, the navigation officer adjusted the ship's course. The Erebus did not need full thrust to move. Its massive engines ran at only 3% power, yet the dreadnought glided as if pushed by an invisible hand. Kara looked at the engine readings and shook her head. "I still can't get used to this. The power core is silent, no heat, no exhaust. If I didn't see the numbers myself, I'd think the engines were dead." Reyes replied, "That was the idea. The Empire can't track what they can't read." The Erebus was the most secret project in human history. Only a small part of the Human Defense Council even knew it existed. Built deep in a hidden system, far from Imperial spies, the ship was designed to stop the Empire's future invasion plans. Reyes remembered the day he received command. The Council told him the truth. "The Empire will attack us within 20 years. We must prepare for the war we cannot avoid." So, humanity did something unexpected. They created something the Empire would never be ready for. The bridge lights flickered for a moment. It was normal. The ship's gravity system adjusted itself often. The Erebus did not simply move through space. It shaped space around itself, bending the local gravity field so the ship sailed without resistance. Reyes checked the readings from the rear scanners. 3 Imperial scouts followed us. They are gone now. The communications officer looked up. "Yes, sir. Their signals vanished a few minutes ago. Kara frowned. The Empire must think we destroyed them. Reyes shook his head. They destroyed themselves. They got too close. Their ships weren't built to handle a gravity field like ours. The gravity envelope around the Erebus was stable for humans, because humans designed it. But any foreign ship entering the field without proper shielding would lose navigation instantly. Their sensors would break, their engines would stutter, their hulls would twist under pressure. Reyes knew those scouts never had a chance. He said quietly, "They should not have followed us." The crew exchanged looks. They did not celebrate. They did not feel proud of the scouts' disappearance. The Erebus was not built for slaughter. It was built to deliver a message, a serious message. We are not weak anymore. Reyes turned to the tactical station. Status of the defensive field? Tactical Officer Mira replied, "Stable and at full strength. No weapons locked. Drones are idle. Shields are aligned." Every word sounded calm, but Reyes could see the tension in her hands. He softened his voice. "Relax, Mira. We are not here to fight. Only observe, pass through, and leave." She nodded. "Yes, sir. It's just this silence. It's heavier than a battle." She was right. The silence inside the ship felt thick. Once in a while, the crew forgot they were moving through enemy space. The Erebus made space itself quiet. Reyes looked at the dark screen again. "The Empire is watching us, preparing their response," Kara asked. "Do you think they will attack?" Reyes took a slow breath. "The Empire attacks anything it does not understand." Kara waited for him to continue. "But if they attack us," Reyes said softly, "they will understand." The crew felt a chill. Not because of fear, but because of certainty. The Erebus was not just a warship. It was a warning. The navigation officer called out, "Captain, we are approaching the first Imperial Fleet checkpoint. They have a heavy cruiser and 2 destroyers waiting ahead." Reyes stepped forward. "Bring us to standard speed. Keep all weapons cold." Kara stared at him. "You want them to see us clearly?" "Yes," Reyes replied. "That is the entire mission." The dreadnought slowed slightly, though even at standard speed it moved faster than most Empire vessels. A soft alarm beeped. Mira checked her screen. "Imperial ships are charging weapons," Kara whispered. "They're scared. They're really scared." Reyes raised a hand. "Hold position." The Erebus stopped moving without any engine flare. It simply froze in space, as if time around it paused. The Empire ships panicked. Their movements became fast and clumsy. They fired warning shots. Every beam vanished before touching the Erebus, bending away like light hitting a mirror. The crew watched in silence. Reyes spoke calmly, "Record everything. The Empire must learn the truth." Kara said, "What truth, sir?" Reyes looked at the massive Imperial ships flailing in fear. "That humans do build ships like this." He turned back to his crew. "And this is only the beginning." The 3 Imperial ships floated in formation ahead of the Erebus. Their hulls were bright silver, with glowing blue engines, the normal, proud colors of the Empire's border fleet. But today, those ships looked small and nervous, like animals facing something they could not understand. Inside the command bridge of the dreadnought, Captain Elias Reyes watched the Imperial ships try to hold their position. He could see the panic in the way they moved. Their engines flared too hard. Their turns were sharp and clumsy. Their shields flickered, unable to stay steady under the strange pull of the Erebus's gravity field. First Officer Kara Lynn looked at the readings. "Their systems are breaking down. They're trying to aim weapons, but the targeting sensors can't lock on." Reyes nodded calmly. "They expected a normal human ship. They're not prepared for this." On the screen, one of the Imperial destroyers fired another warning beam. It curved away from the Erebus, bent by the strong gravity envelope, and disappeared into open space. Kara watched with wide eyes. "They must think we're using some kind of shield tech." Tactical Officer Mira shook her head. "No, they think we're using magic." Even Reyes allowed himself a small smile at that. The Empire prided itself on its advanced science. But what they saw now, it didn't match any of their known formulas. The Erebus simply stood still. No engine glow, no shield haze, no movement. Just quiet and power. Reyes stepped forward. "Open a communication channel. I want to speak with the Empire commander." The communications officer worked fast. "Channel open, sir." A hologram flickered to life. An Imperial commander appeared, a tall alien with gray skin and sharp eyes. His expression was filled with fear, anger, and disbelief. "Unknown vessel," the commander barked. "Identify yourself at once." Reyes answered, his voice steady and polite. "This is Captain Elias Reyes of the human dreadnought Erebus. We are passing through your border on a peaceful mission." The Empire commander stared in shock. "Human? That cannot be. Humans do not build ships like—" He stopped talking. His eyes moved across the screen, studying every part of the dreadnought behind Reyes. "You expect me to believe this monster is human-made?" Reyes remained calm. "I am not here to discuss your expectations. I am here to avoid conflict. Stand down your weapons." The commander's voice cracked. "Your gravity field is damaging my ships. Lower it." Reyes nodded to Mira. She adjusted the field slightly, reducing the pressure. The Imperial ships shook as their systems stabilized a little. Engines stopped flickering. Shields regained color. Fear did not leave their faces, but they breathed more easily. The commander exhaled shakily. "Better," Kara whispered to Reyes. "They're calming down." But Reyes shook his head. "Not enough." The commander leaned closer to the hologram, trying to appear strong. "Human captain, you are violating Imperial space. You will turn your vessel around immediately." Reyes answered with complete control. "I will not. The Erebus will continue its path. We have no hostile intention, but we will not run." The commander froze. He had never heard a human speak such words. Not with such certainty. Not with such calm. His voice rose again. "If you continue, we will open fire." Kara's heart jumped. Mira's hand tightened around her console. But Reyes did not move. "If you fire, Commander, your ships will break before ours does." The words were simple, quiet, and heavy. The commander's face changed. He understood the truth. The three Imperial ships together did not equal the power of the dreadnought, but fear pushed him into anger. "You dare threaten the Empire?" Reyes answered. "I am offering you a choice, not a threat." The commander snapped. "I choose fire." He cut the channel. On the screens, the Imperial cruiser charged its main cannon. The energy lines glowed bright red. The destroyers aimed their smaller cannons. Suddenly, space lit up with deadly beams. Kara gasped. "They fired!" Mira shouted. "Impact in 3 seconds." Reyes stood still. "Do not activate weapons. Hold position." The crew trusted him, but their hearts pounded. A storm of red beams hit the Erebus. Except they didn't hit. Every shot bent away. Some curved into the nebula. Others looped around like thrown ropes and vanished. Not a single shot touched the human ship. The bridge became silent. Even the crew felt chills. Outside, the Imperial ships struggled as their own firing overload shook their hulls. The cruiser's main cannon sparked and shut down. The destroyers drifted, engines failing. Reyes spoke softly. "Open the channel again." The Imperial commander appeared, but now his face was pale. Behind him, alarms flashed, and his officers looked terrified. Reyes said, "Commander, you attacked us. We did not respond. We do not want war, but this will be your last aggressive action. If you fire again, the Erebus will defend itself." The commander swallowed hard. What are you?" Reyes answered, "Humanity." The commander struggled to speak. "Humanity has evolved." Reyes held his gaze. "Humanity is prepared." For a moment, no one spoke. Then the Imperial commander looked away, defeated. "You may pass, Captain Reyes. I will not stop you again." The hologram faded out. Kara let out a long breath. "Sir, they're letting us through." Mira's hands trembled slightly, though she tried to hide it. "We just faced an Imperial attack without firing a single shot." Reyes nodded. "Good, that was the plan." The Erebus began moving again, drifting past the stunned Imperial fleet. On the screens, the Empire ships watched from a distance, silent and shaking. Kara whispered, "Captain, what happens when the Empire tells the High Council?" Reyes looked at the dark stars ahead. His eyes held calm certainty. "They will realize this ship changes everything." And deep inside the dreadnought, the power core pulsed like a quiet heartbeat, stronger than anything the Empire had ever known. The silence in space felt heavy as the two sides stared at each other. The alien fleet hung in formation like sharp metal shadows, while the lone human warship waited without moving. For a moment, nothing happened. No weapons fired, no engines flared. Only the cold emptiness between them stretched wider. Admiral Vekran watched the human ship with tight eyes. He had seen many warships in his long service, some heavy and some strange, but this one made him feel something he had never felt before. It was not fear. It was not anger. It was something deeper. A sense that he was standing in front of a creature that was awake, watching him back. Inside the human ship, Captain Reed stood with both hands behind his back. He knew the aliens were confused, and he also knew they were close to firing again. His ship could take one more hit, maybe two, but he had no plan of allowing that. He turned to his crew and gave a calm order, his voice steady. "Prepare the demonstration." His officers moved at once. Each one knew what the demonstration meant. It was something they had never used in front of another species. But after the alien attack and the risk to the crew, it was time to show why humans survived in the dark of space. It was time to show who they were. Outside, the lights on the human ship shifted. The hull plates slid open like silent doors, exposing strange diamond-shaped structures. They glowed with a soft blue pulse, like a heartbeat preparing to quicken. A message flashed on every alien screen. "Stand down. This is a warning." The alien commanders stared at it, confused. A warning? From a single ship to an entire Imperial fleet? It sounded like a joke. Vecron felt a rush of anger rise inside him. The Empire had never bowed to anyone, and he would not be the first to do so. "Charge the ion cannons," he ordered. But before his crew could finish loading the weapons, the space around the human ship bent in a way that broke every law the Empire understood. A pulse of clean, white light burst outward without sound. It did not explode. It did not burn. It simply erased the darkness, rolling across their shields like a fast-moving wave. When the light faded, every alien ship froze. Their engines went dark. Their power cores shut down. Their shields vanished. But nothing was damaged. Nothing exploded. Nothing broke apart. Everything simply stopped working, as if the ships had fallen asleep. Vecron's bridge fell into complete silence. His crew looked around in panic. Panels blinked without power. Weapons were dead. Engines dead. Even life support was down to the last emergency flow. What did they do?" one officer whispered. No one could answer. The computers showed nothing. No known attack matched what they had seen. No known weapon could disable half a fleet in one shocking move without killing anyone. Vecron grabbed the edge of his chair. His mind tried to understand how a smaller, older, weaker-looking ship could shut down the strongest fleet in this sector with a single burst of energy. He wanted to deny it. He wanted to call it a trick. But deep inside, he knew he had just witnessed something far beyond Imperial technology. Meanwhile, Captain Reed watched the readings come in. The human ship stayed steady, engines glowing faintly as if it had not moved at all. Reed looked at the results. The alien fleet was fully neutralized. They could not fire. They could not move. They could not even call for help. Everything went exactly as planned. He gave a small nod. "Hold position. No further action." His second-in-command looked at him. "They fired on us first. Some captains would return fire." Reed shook his head. "Not our style." The crew relaxed slightly. They had seen what their ship could do, but using that much power always left a mark on them. Humans were not conquerors. They simply built ships that could survive anything, even the unknown. Outside, emergency lights glowed on the alien ships. Life support restarted slowly. Engines attempted to reboot. Weapons stayed offline. It would take hours for the fleet to fully recover. A new message appeared across every alien screen. "We do not seek war. We defend our own. Do not attack human ships again." There was no threat in the words, no demand, no insult, just a statement of truth. Vecron stared at it for a long time. His chest felt tight. He remembered how confident he'd been earlier, how sure he was of victory. But that confidence was gone now, replaced by a heavy weight he could not shake. He looked at the human ship again. It still hovered calmly, as if bored, as if the entire event had been nothing more than a simple exercise. He whispered to himself, "What kind of species builds ships like that?" His question had no answer. No ancient record mentioned humans. No past war logged their name. They were new to the galaxy, and yet they carried weapons that broke the rules of physics. Reed watched the alien ships begin to regain basic control. He knew they were shaken. He knew they had questions, but he also knew this was only the beginning. The Empire had seen human power, and the galaxy would talk about it soon. He sighed and gave the next order. "Send the last message, then pull back." A final transmission echoed across the alien fleet. "We come in peace, but we do not fear war." The human ship turned away, quiet and calm, leaving the silent and stunned Imperial fleet behind. For the first time in centuries, the Galactic Empire felt small. and the galaxy realized that humans were not just another new species. They were something entirely different, something dangerous, something powerful, something that was only getting started. News of the encounter spread through the Galactic Empire faster than any message before. Every high-ranking officer, noble, and council member wanted to know what had happened. The 3 scout ships, the warning shots, and the strange human dreadnought. All of it became the topic of every conversation. No one could explain it. No one could deny it. Admiral Vecron sat in his private quarters, staring at the data logs replaying over and over. He had never felt this kind of unease in his life. Humans had appeared to be a weak, manageable species. But now he had seen something that shattered all the Empire's beliefs. One ship had stopped a fleet without firing a single weapon. One ship had bent gravity, shut down engines, and left no damage. It had been calm, controlled, and unshakable. He rubbed his face and muttered under his breath, "Humans, they are not what we thought." In the Imperial Council chamber, the High Council debated for hours. Some argued that the human ship must have been a trick, a trap designed by alien allies. Others feared that humans had secretly gained access to some ancient technology lost to the galaxy. But everyone agreed on one thing. The humans were dangerous, too dangerous to ignore. Velis, the intelligence officer, spoke quietly. Their ship survived every Imperial system test. Their weapons are unknown. Their defenses are unmatched. If they have more of these, we are unprepared. Corvin, the High Marshal, slammed his hand on the table. We cannot let one human ship decide our fate. We must strike before they build more. A younger counselor, hesitant but logical, shook his head. You saw what happened. One ship is enough to destroy our fleets. If we attack now, we risk losing thousands of ships. We must learn more. We must understand. The council fell silent. Even the most aggressive voices realized the truth. Humans were no longer the weak species they thought they controlled. And they were only beginning to show their strength. Meanwhile, far away in human space, Captain Elias Reed and the crew of the Erebus returned home. The human colonies watched their arrival in silence. Most had only heard rumors of the secret project. Few believed it was real. When the dreadnought appeared in orbit above the hidden shipyards, the people stared in awe. Reed stepped onto the observation deck. His officers gathered around, quiet but proud. They had faced the Empire and survived. They had shown power without aggression. And yet, the mission had not been easy. Every officer felt the weight of responsibility. One misstep could have started a war that humanity was not yet ready for. He looked out at the stars. We did what was necessary, he said softly. The Empire now knows humanity is not weak, but they do not yet understand what that means. Behind him, the engineers prepared the dreadnought for repairs and maintenance. Every system had run at full capacity during the encounter. The power core pulsed steadily, almost as if it understood the importance of its role. Humans had built more than a ship. They had built a symbol. Back in Imperial space, rumors grew wild. Some said the ship had the strength of a small moon. Others claimed it was alive, as if the vessel itself had consciousness. The High Council debated strategies. Some wanted to negotiate. Others wanted to destroy the humans before more ships appeared. Every officer, from the lowest pilot to the High Marshal himself, felt unease. The Empire had always been the strongest. Now, that confidence had cracked. Vecron stared at the star maps on his desk. How many of them exist? He asked no one in particular. No one had an answer. Humans had never shared their fleet numbers. They had never revealed their technology. The Empire had always assumed control. Now, control was gone. In the colonies near the border, human scientists and engineers worked quietly. They knew the Empire would be watching. They knew one mistake could spark war, yet the success of the Erebus mission encouraged them. Humanity had survived, and in doing so, humanity had shown strength that the Empire could not ignore. Reed returned to the command center of the Human Defense Network. He sent detailed reports to the Council. What the Empire had seen, how the dreadnought had performed, and the estimated reaction of the enemy. The Council received the data in silence. They understood that the Empire's fear was real. They also understood that humans had gained something precious, the advantage of surprise. Weeks passed. Imperial fleets conducted scans and patrols, but no human ship appeared outside controlled space. Every sighting, every report only added to the legend. Admiral Sareth, who first encountered the dreadnought, remained haunted by what he had seen. He could not explain it. He could not forget it. The Empire had faced humans before. They had conquered small colonies. But now, humanity had risen to a level beyond their understanding. Reed knew the Empire would be cautious from now on. They would not attack lightly. But caution was a weapon itself. It gave humanity time. Time to build. Time to prepare. Time to grow stronger. The human colonies celebrated quietly. Not with noise or chaos, but with pride and calm resolve. They had faced the Empire and shown the galaxy what humans could do. One ship had changed perception, but the real strength of humanity lay in their persistence, intelligence, and courage. Reed looked up at the stars again. He whispered, "They have seen us. They know what we can do. And we have only just begun." Somewhere in the Empire, officers debated whether to attack or negotiate. Some feared humanity. Some respected them. But all realized the same thing. The galaxy would never be the same. And in the dark spaces between stars, the humans prepared for the future. Not for war, but for survival. Not for conquest, but for defense. The dreadnought had shown the Empire the truth. Humans were no longer the underdogs. Humans were a force the galaxy had to respect. And the Empire had learned one lesson it could never forget. Humanity did build ships like that, and they were only getting started.